I've been in banking all along. I've been in investment bank, Islamic bank, and conventional banks. But I can tell you, in all my how many years of career, this is really the most exciting part of my career. And if you ask the team as well, I think it's a right that we will never forget this journey. And for us to achieve 700 million deposits in just 6 months of launch, we felt, yay, so happy, yeah. And together, we actually built a digital bank where today, if I can say, right, we probably have got the brains of a fintech, the soul of a startup, and maybe the backbone of a strong top-tier financial institution in the industry.
I'm here at the Boost office, and today I'm joined by the CEO of Boost Bank, who is fresh from celebrating their 1-year anniversary. And throughout this year, I think you guys have achieved a couple of milestones. You've had over 700 million in deposits and 150 million in SME loans. And I heard that you've also won three awards as well. Congrats on that, and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Vincent. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. We've spoken many times, but first time on screen, so I'm very excited to be having this conversation with you, to be getting a sense of the whole 1-year journey of Boost Bank and where you guys are headed. Maybe we can take it back to the start and talk about the whole journey of building a bank, right? And again, that's not an experience that most of us can say we have. And I think what's interesting about Boost versus some of your other peers is that your partnership is with a traditional bank. So give us a sense of what that journey was like, and what is it like building a digital bank together with a traditional bank?
I can tell you that joining Boost Digital Bank is one of the boldest decisions that I've made, and the most exciting journeys of my entire career. I've been in banking all along. I've been in investment bank, Islamic bank, and conventional banks. But I can tell you, in all my how many years of career, this is really the most exciting part of my career. So, as you know, Boost is the mastermind with the setup of the Boost Digital Bank. So they started off with an understanding on what they want to do with the customers, how they want to address the underserved and the unserved customers. Now the entire tech stack strategy, the product innovation, and the customer service. So they came up with the entire proposition for the digital bank. And once that was done, they had to look for a partner. We had to look for a partner, and of course, RHB came in as a really strong partner and good partner for us. Now they've got the strength of one of the strongest conventional banks out there in the market, and we felt that they had the trust and they had the backbone of a strong governance. And together, we actually built a digital bank where today, if I can say, right, we probably have got the brains of a fintech, the soul of a startup, and maybe the backbone of a strong top-tier financial institution in the industry. And
the deep compliance understanding as well.
Yes, absolutely. So that has given us this magic on Boost Bank setup.
So I think, of course, before Boost and RHB joined hands together, deciding to start a digital bank, there were a lot of things that you guys thought on paper would work together, would work well, a lot of synergies, but realities are always different, right? So what were some challenges that were unexpected, or what are some advantages that were unexpected that came from this partnership when building this digital bank?
Well, they are my shareholder, right? So, basically, I have to say, on the overall, right, in summary, they have been an extremely good partner. You know, I think we agreed on a lot of strategies moving forward as a digital bank. What is it that we can do? How do we refer some of these cases to RHB and vice versa? So we have a very good agreement in place, and that really helps us move forward. And it hasn't been an issue so far. We've worked together very fast. You know, we're really good in collaboration in that sense. Of course, in some instances, we feel fintech is maybe faster than a conventional bank. But it is what it is, right? So we've learned to understand that as well. And today we really work really close together, and we're really happy with the partnership.
I guess having perspective from both sides brings a bit of balance to your approach, I suppose.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
So now that it's been a year, right? When you reflect back as the CEO of the bank, what would you say were the biggest milestones that defines what you would consider success for the bank?
So 1 year, right?
One year, yeah.
Like,
It's so fast. I remember just attending the launch and I can't believe it's really been a year actually.
but it hasn't gone with no hiccups, lah, right?
No,
There's
for sure.
a lot of ups and downs, and
Yeah.
it's really a ride. And if you
Yeah.
ask the team as well, I think it's a ride that we will never forget this journey, and it's an experience for us all to take back, right?
sure.
So today, if I look back, right, I mean, for a start, for us to achieve 700 million deposits in just 6 months of launch, we felt, yay, so happy, yeah.
So when you think about this whole year journey, right, were there any memorable or favorite moments that you've had building this bank with your team, or anything that strikes out in this whole 1 year?
Oh, so many.
Yeah.
So many. I think when we first came out in the market, we said that financial inclusion is key for us, right? And we came up with banking for the unbanked. I think that was absolutely new for everyone, including regulators at that point, right? So we came up with, if you don't have a bank account at all today, you can still open a bank account with just 2 steps, doing 1 step and doing a SALPI liveness check. You can open a bank account without even having to download the bank app. So that was extremely new to us. We did find the journey initially a little bit of unsureness on our part. Is this something that customers are okay with the journey? Would that be hiccups in there? But we were very happy that it went through really nicely, and that was something that we're really proud of. Because we're the first to come up with it, and we see a portion of our customers today are customers who are really unbanked customers. Now, I mean, we do say out there that 90% of Malaysian population is banked, right?
Right.
But having that segment that is really unbanked in our portfolio was a wow for us.
Yeah. I mean, when we think about it, like when we say 90% of customers are banked, 10% may seem small, but 10% is still 3 million people, and 3 million people is not small, right?
Yes.
So I think
Absolutely.
whoever that we can include in the formal financial services is always a boon for the country nonetheless. So on that note, I think, when Bank Negara first came out with the digital banking framework, of course, financial inclusion is a big factor. The other factor is also innovation of financial services as well, right? So when you think about what you guys have launched, what you guys have pushed so far, beyond what you mentioned earlier about fully unbanked customers being banked, what other ways do you think the bank has moved the needle when it comes to innovation in the industry?
Embedded banking, no doubt.
Right.
I think we were first to go out there and talk about embedded banking. At that point, I think we had to explain what we meant by embedded banking, because there's a lot of interpretations, right, on what embedded banking really means. So we really had a clear definition. It means bank coming to you. You do not even have to download the bank app.
Right.
And we can do that today via the Boost e-wallet.
Right.
Now, our intention is really in the long term to be able to do that anywhere with any of our ecosystem partners. And we're moving forward with that, right? But as of today, we're really happy that the Boost e-wallet, 80% of our Boost e-wallet customers are the bank customers.
Okay.
So basically, it's not just talk, it's real.
Okay.
The wallet customers were happy to open a bank account without having to download the bank app.
Very cool. So when you say your ecosystem partners, you want to enable that through your ecosystem partners. Can you give us a sense of what that journey might look like?
Yeah, so it would be similar to what we've done in the Boost e-wallet. But of course, all this requires regulatory approval, right?
Naturally.
Yeah, because the condition was to ensure that security is in place. Whichever platform it is, they require BNM security is in place. So we've got to ensure that. But we have our ecosystem partners. We've got Celcom DG. We've got all the supermarkets in East Malaysia that we've tied up with. We've got Mydin. We've got The Age. We've got Zeus Coffee. All these partners, I mean, they have a segment of customers who would really want to be able to bank without having to download the bank app.
Right.
Now, Celcom DG is a very good example for us. It's a big base. It's customers who already use the Celcom DG app. Why don't they just do banking while they're in the app?
Sure. So in that future, subject to regulatory approval, you're envisioning that they can sign up for your services there, or you're envisioning that they can use some of your services there? What does that look like?
So the end of the day, we are assuming that they can do banking without having to download the Boost Bank app.
Okay. All right. So it's embedded over there. Okay. Very cool. Very
So
cool stuff.
that's the end of the day target, right? So we've got to get there.
For
It
sure.
takes a bit of time, but
Yeah.
that's the vision that we have.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, let's shift gears back to financial inclusion, which we touched on a little bit earlier. Beyond just the unbanked, which again is a very important thing, in what other ways are you helping to get people more included in the financial services system, from the underserved to done?
SME banking is the other one. So we just launched our SME lending earlier this year. So what we've done on SME, as you know, Boost Credit has done SME lending in the past, right? And they actually do lend to micro businesses, small stalls, warungs, who's doing businesses, right? So we have taken that and put that into what the bank will be doing in the future. So we started off with lending first. And we're just giving out financing to this small base. But the intention for us is to come up with an SME platform. And in that platform, to have a more holistic proposition for the customers. So whatever they need, what do they need? I mean, we've done these studies, they need QR payments. They need the ability to open an account digitally. They need to pay their suppliers, so we want to have all this available for them. So our thoughts are SMEs or micro SMEs opening up a financial door for them. So them coming and walking in allows them to access the entire spectrum of capabilities to grow their business.
So would you say that prior to Boost Bank existing, they weren't able to get certain credit products, certain payment products? Is that the case for some of these clients?
Well, at least for Boost, right? I mean, we were already doing QR payments, right? We were already doing payments for them in different forms, right? But that was it. They had rewards, they had payments, they had QR, but they don't have a CASA account. So now by combining all this, it brings them benefit because we are looking at one customer holistically. We are allowing them to access, say, financing, for instance, to meet their requirements, whether it's a daily payment, weekly payment, or a monthly payment.
Okay.
So that's actually just a step up to what they've enjoyed in the past.
Let's talk hard numbers, right? And I think when Bank Negara designed the framework, they also put in place a 5-year foundational period. And I think that were also the economic cycle that they were looking at for banks to be profitable within 5 years. How do you feel about that 5-year time frame? Do you think you guys can achieve it beforehand, or are you looking at 5 years? What's your sense on it?
Well, Vincent, actually, the 5-year time frame is still a 5-year time frame for us, right? As much as possible, we do want to try and achieve these numbers before the 5-year timeline. But we have put in place our business plan, and as you know, our focus is really on SME lending. So the more we're able to get our SME proposition right for our customers, that gives us the ability to reach our goals better. So today, we've got the numbers on deposits, and we're very happy with the deposit numbers, and we can move forward as much as we want on deposit. We know how it works, we know how to achieve the numbers that we want. We've got our debit cards out. We also have our numbers on debit cards, which are pretty decent numbers for us. We're coming up with a lot more proposition for the consumer front. And we are enhancing the SME platform. So for us, achieving the 5-year business plan is something that is not an option. We will have to achieve it, right? Otherwise, both of our shareholders will not be very happy. So we've got to achieve the 5-year business plan. But numbers are just numbers, right? I mean, actually, really, Vincent, throughout this journey, or as far as we've seen it, we've achieved a lot more. And I think that will probably be a recognition as well. I mean, bringing a bank team and a fintech team together was not an easy task. I think together these guys work really well together. So that's a huge achievement. Being able to have over 60% or 70% of your portfolio as underserved segment, that's also an amazing achievement, which we feel was also the target set by the regulators.
Yeah, because if you're just profitable and you're serving the same segment, I don't think we would have come up with this framework as well. Right? So there's a balancing between the two. So at the end of the day, would you say you're reasonably comfortable and confident with that 5-year timeline?
Absolutely.
All right. Very cool.
Absolutely.
All right. So I think as of now, there are already 3 digital banks in the market, and
Yeah.
you've all kind of carved out your own space. With 2 more that's coming up very, very soon. How do you plan to remain unique compared to some of your peers?
Yeah. So we fight a lot, right?
We fight a lot.
No, actually, in reality, we're all really like good friends, right? We get along well. But I think what's apparent is each of us have got our unique segment of customers and our own strategy. So for us, we really feel like embedded is our strategy, and we've started off on embedded retail. We are going into embedded SME. Now that's the space that we've carved out for ourselves. And we are fairly confident on how we're going to achieve our target on embedded banking. I think as much as what's required on a regulatory front, as well as the consumer expectations, we feel that we've carved this out properly. And that would be our edge on against, in line with the other 5 competitors.
Okay, very cool. I guess before we wrap up, my final question to you would be, what kind of exciting things that we can expect, right? Whether it's from new products. I know you mentioned you have SME loans, you have a good base of deposit. Are we expecting consumer loans? Are we expecting more partners? Talk to us about some of the exciting plans that you have over the next medium to long term.
Okay, it's very exciting and there's a lot to tell, but I don't know how much I can reveal at this point, right? So there's a lot that we want to do out there. In fact, for this year, we've got a plan out already in terms of product rollout, both on the consumer front as well as the SME. I think on the SME, I was very clear that we want to build an SME platform. The SME platform is a big step for us because we really want to address an SME, a micro SME coming in and being able to access whatever he needs on financial and to grow his business, right? So that's a big step. So if you can imagine, that would be a lot of things that we would put into the platform to get these guys to access them. On the consumer front, I can tell you that we will be touching a lot on the underserved and unbanked community. Now, I don't specifically want to say what we're doing or what products we're rolling out, but that's going to come up pretty soon. Okay. It's not too far down the road, but you will see that it's really addressing the underserved segment.
Okay. Very cool. With that, thank you so much for your time, Fozia. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Vincent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.